Why does your breaking news sounder sound like middle school television news that goes closed circuit, like it just for morning announcements?
You don't like this? Today, pizza in the cafeteria.
That's exactly what I feel. That's giving me exactly like my first TV production class. That felt like the intro music that we had.
Ice cream day.
Oh man! Breaking news from Adam Schefter, Ian Rapoport, and Jalen Ramsey, who's confirmed it.
Yeah.
Even though Jalen Ramsey, here's the thing with Jalen Ramsey, he claims that I guess he's saying that he broke his own news. So I guess I'll give him credit first. I don't know. I got to see timestamp who was first. Hold on.
He's trying to beat the reporters.
He's saying that he's trying to beat the reporters. Yeah. It seems like he did. I got 36 on Rappaport and Schefter, so looks like Jalen Ramsey gets the credit. Jalen Ramsey has been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
Yep. Jalen Ramsey has been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and according to Adam Schefter, he also is getting a raise.
Wow.
This guy's got the greatest. This guy's got the greatest agent of all time.
Can I just say this? In all the years that I've known Pittsburgh, and that was my arch nemesis when I was in Cleveland, this is outside of their character.
They're going all in, all in.
Right. What they've done the last couple of months is outside their character. And I got to tell you, I mean, it kind of falls in line with what everybody else is doing. And maybe they've come to the realization that, the way we were doing it was a little old and we need to step up to the current, to present day football.
Well, especially in that division. I mean, the Ravens, it feels like it's been their division with a little slice of Bengals. Like they always kind of, they feel like they're not embarrassing themselves, but nobody ever really thinks they have a chance.
Right.
Right. Adam Schefter, ESPN sources, the Miami Dolphins have agreed to trade three-time All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey to the Steelers. As part of the trade, Ramsey will get a $1.5 million raise this season, bringing his compensation up to $26.6 million. I'm still waiting on details on if the Dolphins got anything back, what the deal is.
Listen.
Jalen Ramsey tweeted out a video of himself running drills backwards up a hill.
So let me ask you this.
Sick of this guy.
Do you really have to trade anything or get anything in return when you get $25 million a room?
If they just took the money?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not expecting much. If anything, I'm expecting like a conditional.
It's almost like any team that would have traded for Jalen Ramsey would be doing the Dolphins a favor. Which is odd to say.
I'm definitely not.
He's a good player.
Yeah, I'm not expecting. I'm like a 5th round pick is the most I would think they would get for him, if anything.
If that. But I'm saying, do you care about the 5th round pick when that $25 million is off your ledger?
Huh. Oh, Barry Jackson has gotten any. Let's see. Barry Jackson. Dolphins trade disgruntled former All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey to the Steelers on Monday, parting ways with one of the most accomplished players just 9 months after giving a lucrative contract extension. The parties involved were not saying what Miami would receive in return.
Which is weird because the trade has to go to the front office and the compensation will be included in that trade. So whether they disclose it or not, it's out there.
Yeah, I mean, look, we knew based on the tone of Mike McDaniel, who's not one who's short on words. Anytime the name Jalen Ramsey was mentioned, it was very, I've said what I've said. I'm blah, 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 blah. Like he had nothing to say about Jalen Ramsey. The frostiness that had gotten there was certainly noticeable.
I would say this, that to me, and I'm not saying this happened, that sounds like a situation that happened out in the open. And now the team and the organization has to do something. right?
Are you
Like
saying
it wasn't a situation like
a
say
meeting. You're saying like a meeting call out, you think?
it would say, I'll give you the equivalent. Say if I have a problem with Marcos and he does something that pisses me off,
Yeah.
right? I wouldn't wait until break and then go in the studio and then talk to him. I would do it over the air to where everybody's put in a position where somebody has to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of how this looked like it played out to me, because I've known players to have arguments with coaches, but out of respect, it usually happens behind closed doors and they hash it out. If it happens in open, now the organization and the head coach have to make a decision, because how is that going to affect the young players and the other guys on the team who think that they could do that too?
Yeah, and especially like if you're in this position where Mike McDaniel knows that he's on the hot seat, which I think he knows that he is, and you're trying to change the culture or get out like whatever special treatment was there.
That's hanging over you. That's hanging over you.
It's hanging over you. So like whatever happened between him and Jaylen Ramsey that, yes, seems like it was personal and that he's not dealing with whatever angle Mike was trying to snuff it out. You know, maybe maybe it was a public call out that he didn't like in a meeting.
Right.
Who knows?
That's what I'm saying, because let's be clear, right? I've seen firsthand players and coaches go at it. It's nothing new, okay? But what happens is you squash it, you move on, because that's your family. If you were to do the same things in a public arena, right? Now you can't squash it because it's there and you got to deal with it. And so it's kind of like when you see a player and a coach go at it on the sidelines, and usually when they ask about it, usually the player and the coach right away will say, no, there's no big deal. It's game time. We just blah, 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 blah. If that doesn't happen, it always plays out like this, right? Where the coach and the player can't repair it, right? So it's not only, especially in the locker room, we all understand and appreciate the phrase heat in a moment, right?
Right.
When you're a player, you put all this stuff into it. When you're a coach, you put all this stuff on it. When it's not going to plan, right? Sometimes people get heated, go at it with players or whatever. It's nothing new, okay? But where you have it and how you deal with it afterwards, that's the part of it that causes the issues. And so even if Jalen Ramsey and Mike McDaniel had a drag out, cuss back and forth at practice, right? Usually the two will get together, then you, like in a team meeting, you squash it. Like, look, I went over the line. Shouldn't have went that far. I should have had a private conversation with him. This is over. Don't worry about it. Let's just keep doing our work, right?
Yeah,
that gets squashed. And it never seemed, throughout this whole situation, it never seemed like that happened.
Yeah, and the thing that I just find interesting about it, and yeah, you never know what happens behind the scenes. And I know that I know Jalen Ramsey is a very sensitive guy, and is not exactly not had run-ins with coaches before. But I just, my first image of Jalen Ramsey being with the Dolphins was all being Mike McDaniel pouring the praise on this. I mean, probably as much as anybody, maybe other than Tua. Right next, remember, he has the knee injury right as camp starts, and he's basically right next to him at every practice. Right. He's making an impact, and obviously there was some unhappiness with that secondary with Fangio the first year, and whatever led into the second year with having a new coach and Anthony Weaver because they parted ways with him. Obviously there were struggles last year, but I'm sure we're going to find out. I imagine someone's going to leak what the details are of getting to it.
I don't necessarily know that you will, because The only way you're going to find out is if both parties just say what happened. And when people tell stories, they always tell the story slanted to their side. I don't think Mike McDaniel will ever say anything.
Whoa. Is this real?
What?
Oh, whoa.
The Dolphins,
Uh-oh.
in return for Jalen Ramsey,
Uh-oh.
are getting back Minka Fitzpatrick.
Whoa!
According to Adam Schefter, ESPN sources, the Steelers traded 3-time All-Pro safety Minka Fitzpatrick to the Dolphins in exchange for 3-time All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey, the rare player-for-player trade.
Player for player. Hold on,
Can I just say, hold on.
Minka Fitzpatrick's back
Are
at the
you
Dolphins.
bleeping kidding me?
Wow.
Whoa!
Stinker Fitzpatrick. Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bygones be bygones.
Now bygones, huh?
Wow.
Say it to his face.
Wow.
I had to make sure I wasn't Schnarfnerd.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
Player for player doesn't really happen a lot. So that's crazy.
Wow.
But what? Hold on. Say that again.
Okay.
Adam Schefter, ESPN sources, Steelers trade
You sure
3-time
it's not
All-Pro
Scheffler?
safety. It's not, dude, I clicked on it, 11.5 million followers, blue check mark.
Wow.
It's him.
Okay.
Steelers traded 3-time All-Pro safety Minka Fitzpatrick to the Dolphins in exchange for 3-time All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey. The rare player-for-player trade and another trade. Wow.
That's great because I'm seeing like Steelers fans tweet out like our secondary is crazy now.
Well, Armando just because it was funny, I retweeted Armando Salguero, who just tweeted before this.
Yeah.
The Dolphins have now traded 2 3-time first-time All-Pro, 3-time first-team All-Pros to the Steelers secondary, Minka Fitzpatrick and Jalen Ramsey. Both had disagreements with their head coaches, and minutes later, the Dolphins are getting back Minka Fitzpatrick.
Wow.
I did the unretweet,
wait,
by the way.
wait.
My mentions.
You know what's crazy about this? In sports, okay, like, and let's go to hockey where the Bruins said they wouldn't be against bringing Marchand back, right? This is crazy.
Yeah.
How often does it happen? Like, it might happen at the end of your career when, like in basketball, you might go back and fill a role out on the bench. But you ain't in your prime.
But his beef was with Flores. It wasn't like a Dolphins thing. Like, Chris Greer drafted him.
Wow. You think him and Tua are going to be like,
You
hey,
think they need to have a conversation before they complete the deal
I don't
with
know.
Minka?
I don't know.
nah, I don't think so.
No.
Nah, I just think they're like, well, sorry, Minka. Got to get Jalen.
Yeah, but that's why you got rid of Jalen.
Well, they had to pay Jalen. I mean, like, if it's a player for player, it seems like it was just money for money, because I imagine Minka Fitzpatrick makes a lot of money too.
They were not far from one another. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you would have had to have a conversation with Minka Fitzpatrick simply because he would have been the same as having Jalen Ramsey back. If the reason why he got traded was because of.
Yeah, but his beef, remember, like, he got traded the tank season, and it was it was apparently a beef with the head coach. It was a similar situation. So if he's getting a fresh start with a new coaching staff, Anthony Weaver as the defensive coordinator, like, I'm sure there is a like, I guess
Anthony Weaver will have him doing so many different things. You guys are going to really be impressed with that, because that's usually in his defense. He has 1 or 2 DBs that he does a lot of stuff with.
Wow.
So I got to tell you.
And has been pointed out, Monday Night Football, Week 15 in Pittsburgh.
Ooh.
Wow.
This is good.
Man, I'm still like, this is.
Schmeathan says, Tobin, go to break. You have a lot of tweets to delete. A lot of self-sanctioning, a lot of stink. I gotta delete a lot of Minka Fitzpatrick tweets. Wow. All right, if you're just tuning in, breaking news, blockbuster trade. The Miami Dolphins have traded Jalen Ramsey to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for Minka Fitzpatrick, Miami Dolphins' former first-round pick.